Welcome to Tell Us Why, a podcast for the financial freedom community. If you're looking to succeed in your quest for financial freedom, make sure you join us every week as we, along with our guests, discuss different stories of success, how they were achieved, and how you can do the same. And of course, we ask them to tell us why. Here are your hosts, Jack and Mike.
Welcome to the Tell Us Why podcast. I'm your host, Jack Dalrymple, here alongside my co-host. Today we were talking with Johnny DeVitto. What's that look for? What are you looking at?
Your co-host doesn't have a name, Mr. Michael Ketchen.
Did I not say that?
You didn't do it. But more importantly, though, we did talk to a great guest named Johnny DeVitto. We had a great episode.
Did I really not say your name?
You didn't do it. So let's just keep it rolling. What did you think about the episode? What was your big takeaway? Obviously, you're still worked up from the episode. You know,
I am. I mean, I thought this was a great episode. Like, I like that guy a lot. We are definitely connecting offline. Like, I feel like we get a lot in common. So a lot of great stuff. He just left his job, right? In January, he's already making deals work, and he's a real estate guy. I thought it was great, though.
I think it's a great episode. I think his why is very impactful. He lives it every day. I guess my question to you and all the people at home, what happens when two introverts hang out? You guys talk about anything? But yeah. So,
for both of us being an introvert, it was a great episode.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Producer Jake chiming in. That's how I felt during it. I'm like, did they just become best friends? Like, is this an episode of like, it's like a Will Ferrell movie? But yeah, like I said, no, we'll definitely check it out. And I think his journey, exactly. His journey falls along very close to the same path I took, same path you took. But he's at an earlier inflection point. He's just transitioned out recently from his daily job into the full-time real estate investing. And I always think those stories are good because it's easy for the audience to hear when we've got someone who's established, hey, here's a person going through it. Yeah. And I just think that's good. It's inspirational. So that was one of my big
take on the inflection point when you're debating back and forth of whether or not to leave and go full time. That was a great take. I like that a lot. And I think a lot of the audience will, if you're at that point, will definitely appreciate what he has to say in that.
100%. So let's not tease him anymore. But first, let's hear who this week's episode of Tell Us Why is brought to us by.
Let's do it.
Are you sick of being treated like just another number by large insurance companies? Do you want a more personalized experience with somebody that you can trust? With Keith Monteith, that's exactly what you'll get. Keith is an experienced professional who can design an insurance plan tailored to fit your specific needs. With access to over 30 insurance carriers, Keith is able to shop numerous markets to find a price that works for you. So if you want an insurance agent that you can rely on and one that has your best interests at heart, then call or text Keith today on 978-241-2363. That's 978-241-2363. Keith Monty. He'll get you covered.
Okay, so Johnny DeVitto was born and raised in Atkinson, New Hampshire. He met his wife and business partner, Brittany, while attending UNH. So the University of New Hampshire, for those not from New England. They moved 5 houses down from where he grew up on Bing Island Pond and still lives there today. It's the reason he fell in love with real estate. They have one child, boy that's 1 year old, and a black lab who his wife says listens better than his kid and him. But they own and self-manage, don't laugh at me, Mike, 25 residential units. And he left his W-2 job in January to spend more time with his family and focus fully on real estate. So Johnny, welcome to the Tell Us Why podcast.
What's going on, guys? I'm glad to be here.
So happy to have you. As you can tell, Jack was so excited he only misread it once.
So I know, that was pretty good. Dude.
That was pretty good for the intro. Keep it with it. But Johnny, one of my favorite real estate investors, man. Thank you so much for being here. I think you got a great story to share with the community. And as Jack alluded to, you got a lot going on, man. So why don't you tell us where you're at in the business today?
Tons going on. So, I'll just go back on that bio, who I am today, the biggest thing is I'm a father, that's the most important thing to me. 34 years old. I have an incredible wife, Brittany. She's also my business partner. She adds huge value, as you know, Mike.
Yes.
Her father owns a construction company, and she kind of runs it. He's off playing golf in Florida, and she's kind of running the business. So there's a lot of value there for redoing properties and stuff like that. I live in Big Island Pond. It's in Atkinson, New Hampshire. I've lived on the lake my entire life, as Jack mentioned, 5 houses down from where I grew up. It's awesome because I got a 1-year-old and I can just drop the kid off at not any time, but most of the time, give it to my mom and be like, here you go. And she's all excited.
I can relate. I can relate. My
Yep.
parents are a block away. My wife's family is 5 blocks away. So I'm in the same boat. I get
it's
it.
Perfect. And Britt's mom's in Atkinson too. So it's just good, and they watch the kid a lot. They're big contribute to why Britt and I are so successful in real estate, even now she's they're watching the kid right now. So we're very fortunate to have them.
Perfect. Perfect.
I want to jump in on that real quick, Johnny, because I think you said something that's important that you and Jack can both relate to, and we'll get right into it. You led off by saying your most important thing is being a father. So I want to tell the community one of the things I was excited to talk to you about, because similar to what Jack went through that I can't really relate to, is you guys did something that I would say the public considers more risky, if you will. You became a full-time entrepreneur, but you did it to spend more time with your family and get into that. So what has that process been like, leaving the traditional, corporate grind? I mean, tell the people what you're doing before. What's it like now being full-time in the business, getting to design your life around being that dad and being that husband and being present in the moment? What is that like?
It's wild. So I worked in Boston. I worked from 7 to 7 in Boston for my father, actually. And we'll talk about that conversation a little bit. So 7 to 7, I was gone, and it was okay, when the kid wasn't around, but when the kid came around, it was 7 to 7, I was gone. I had to come home, and then I had to, I wanted to spend time with my son. Like, that's my main thing. And then, I put him to bed and I'd have to go back to real estate, and there was no time for my wife, and that's putting a toll on our relationship, and I couldn't have that. And I love real estate, so I wasn't giving up that. So,
More than your wife, or no?
Yeah, no.
She's going to hear this, Johnny. So
She is. I got to be good. So yeah, and so I left the job, and just honestly, system's been tough to kind of get used to, because I'm so used to I have a schedule 7 to 7, and now it's just all right, I got time. I watch my kid in the morning. We feed him breakfast. I never got to do these things, and my wife's a happier person because I'm there to help her now. So we feed the kid, play with him for a little bit, and then he goes off to a grandma's house. And systems have been tough for me right now, getting used to it all, because it's just still so new. But it's been really great. I've been able to kind of just focus down on real estate, look at all my deals, really analyze them, and get offers out right away. I'm able to go look at properties that day or the next day. Where working full time, you didn't get that availability. So it's really been nice.
Oh yeah. And sticking with that, because I know Jackson has some follow-up. So I want to steal my one question.
So
all right, you want to go ahead of me?
On Instagram for the past 2 weeks, there's a Jordan B. Peterson quote where he's talking about the first 4 years of a child's life. Have you heard that? Are you on Instagram? Have you heard that at all?
I haven't heard about the first 4 years of.
Okay, I got.
What is he going to misquote?
I wrote it down because I felt like this was going to come up. He said, "You have little kids for 4 years, and if you miss it, it's done. That's it. You got to know that. Lots of things in life you don't get to do more than once. That period between 0 and 5 is a peak experience in life, and it isn't much of your life. But if you miss it, it's gone. You miss it at your peril." So did that, I feel like for me, I didn't leave my job until after my kid, I think he was maybe 6 years old.
Okay.
And listening to that quote, I'm like, shit, I did miss that. I missed a lot of his life, growing up, those first 5 years.
Yeah.
I don't want to miss anything after that. You seem like right now you're in the position where you're not going to miss that. You're going to be able to be there for the things that you want to be, everything or nothing. Everything. I don't know. You can be there when you want to be there, I guess is what I'm trying to say. I just kind of wanted to get your take on that. I can probably throw that in the
100%. You you can't see it, but you kind of gave me chills. I got a little bit of goosebumps right there. No, that's the whole thing. That's why I love real estate. I'm able to do that. I'm able to be home, and I get to spend time with my kid. That's that's so important to me. I've wanted a kid since, I don't know, not always younger, but like, 18 years old. Like I've always wanted a kid.
Yeah.
I always wanted a family. So this is unbelievable. I've also wanted to be a coach for hockey and stuff. And I'm like, with my job, my W-2, I don't think I'm gonna be able to do that in Boston.
Johnny, we
my
just became best friends.
Yeah, it was my father's business. So it was like tough decision, but like I'm able to coach, coaches, whatever, if it's his hockey team, soccer, whatever, or if it's a sport I don't know, I'll be an assistant coach, whatever. But I'm so excited to kind of go on that journey with him, and it's unbelievable. So I'm very fortunate.
Go back, listen to what John just said and what Jack just said, and it's very important because it's what we talk about here. And it's funny, we're coming up on our 50th episode, Johnny, and you tagged a video for us a couple weeks back that really, we wanted to get you on for a while, but I said, now we got to get him on. And the synergy between you and Jack is so apparent to me because Jack's got an unbelievable young man that Jack does a great job. Jack's a great father, and his wife's a great parent, and Cam's very lucky to have great parents. And well, I seriously, I mean it, and again, I don't have kids, it's not really my jam, but I see it in what we're doing. And so you put up your little son, your little man's walking around, you say, this is my why. What I want to ask you, and I've never thought to ask the guests in the past, and I wish I should, because I really want to bring this to the listeners. When you flip that switch, okay, when you flip that switch and you say, hey, Britt, I need to be here for our little man. I need to be here for our family. We're going to bet on ourselves. We're going to leave the security of my father's firm. We're going to go do this full time. What does that conversation look like? And what advice could you give the Tell Us Why community to take that leap of faith to bet on yourself?
Okay. So my wife is the betting woman, I should say. She's just like, I'm a little conservative. And she's just like, you're leaving your job, Brittany. You're leaving your job, Johnny. And that's it. That's what we're gonna do. And it's what I wanted, So having that support from her to say like, no, you're leaving it, and me just being the conservative one and be like, all right, like I think we make enough money. I think that she's like, no, we're gonna make this work. You're gonna go. Like I know your how you work and everything like that. So you're gonna make it work no matter what. And that's kind of how I'm like, you're right. Like I'm gonna make it work. Like I will do whatever I can to make this work. And that's kind of what I'm doing right now. So I'm getting, I may not have some. So right now I have in the lineup, I've got a flip going under. I've done a wholesale so far. There's a couple projects that I've already been doing just within the 3 months of leaving that I wanted to just assure, like get some extra money, just not rely on that passive income, get some extra money in there. And I'm able to do that being full time. So if you're in that shoes where like, you're getting some passive income and you think you're financially like there, just do it. Like if you're that close, if you're like going back and forth, you're at that spot and you should 100% jump on it, go for your goals, because you're going to have so much time freed up when you're not worried about your W-2 job, and you can just fully focus on real estate investing.
Yeah.
Like that's huge.
Touching on that for a second, that was a conversation that I had with Mike and when I was talking about leaving. He was like, listen, if you leave your job, you can have all this time to devote towards whatever it is. In this case, like yours, it was real estate. But like now I can go whenever. Like I was just earlier today, I went and looked at it. I was at an open house. Like I met somebody for lunch, and now we're talking about partnering on a deal. Like now I have times to do that, where if I'm at the office 9 to 5, like maybe I'm sending an email and I'm not making those connections or viewing those properties like other people like me are. So it's a decent trade-off. Like you have the time to fully devote instead of part-timing your life, you're full-timing it now, and you're able to do that when you leave your job. So if you're, like you said, on the fence, I think that's great advice, because you're gonna ramp up your business, whatever 100%. It is. You're going to ramp it up.
Yep. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, I think Johnny hit the nail on the head right there. We talked about that, Jack, and we all went through that. And me and my wife, who's also my business partner, we talked about, everyone's so focused on what can go wrong when the conversation should really be framed as what can go right. And
Absolutely.
if it does go wrong, your worst case scenario is your reality in that moment. You go back to what you had before, right? But we frame risk and we view risk, in my opinion, so ass backwards in this world. We're trying to change it. We're trying to change what podcasts like Tell Us Why is what we're doing. And we're trying to do it like Johnny just said. I mean, go back and listen to what Jack said. That was perfect. Regardless, even if you broke even if you bet on yourself and you stumbled and you fell, guess what? The memories, the impact that you're making for you and your family right now for these 4 years with your son, the return on the investment for that is infinite because it happens one time.
One time.
And that's happened from your investing and stuff. And again, he's lucky to have, a great dad like you, just like, Cam's lucky to have Jack. So staying with that and going into it, we talked a little bit about the emotion. We talked about getting into the day to day. There's a little story I got to bring up. I got to get this off my chest now. I got to bring on my first guest. So,
all right.
So Mr. Johnny
DeVitto,
Johnny DeVitto, one of my favorite guys, actually beat me at a deal. I had a deal locked up, but I couldn't get my comps back quick enough. Talking about systems, that this smooth talking brother goes in and gets the seller to take this 9 unit that I go back to, even though he's going to pay a commission. So the guy's actually making less money. He closed that deal. And I'm so mad at Johnny because that 9 units probably already appreciated about 25-30%.
Yep.
But all jokes aside, Johnny, what has it been like self-managing and now trying to scale this business? Because your wife is your business partner. What are some tips on that side of it as someone who's also on the front lines of that? Now be careful because Matt Hitchcock, other co-host and friend of the Tell Us Why community, says Britt's his favorite DeVitto. So he's going to share clips with it. So be careful, all right? So tell us what that's like. How are you guys self-managing? How are you going to scale? And what's it like partnering with your wife right now?
So self-managing, it's been good right now, but we have 25 units. So we're trying to build systems where we can grow, So I've been in the talks of possibly starting a property management company and just kind of macro managing it. And, because if I'm going to continue building my portfolio, I really don't want to pay someone else to, manage my properties. I want to manage how I want to manage, keep the vacancy rate down low, know everything about it. Not knocking any property management companies, but like they're not going to do as good a job as I'm going to do.
So you want to self-manage is what you're saying?
Yeah, but I'll probably, as
See
I
that,
grow,
Jack? That's a smart man.
Here we go.
I've been in the talk with some people, of just kind of starting out a property management company, manage internally and then kind of expanding, maybe taking on new people and stuff. But I want to pay myself back. I don't want to pay someone else. I'd rather hire someone full time to take that role. And, I can kind of macro manage everything and know what's going on in my units and be like, hey, no, you need to do this better. Telling a company that owns or manages 1,000 units, they're like whatever kind of things to me. So, that's kind of how I feel about self-managing.
Yeah. Well, I think that's a perfect follow-up question then too. And we were just having this conversation today as a team. We get so obsessed about door count. So what is your goal? So if you're planning to self-manage, I'm guessing it's that passive income number. You're more worried about quality of doors over quantity of doors. Am I safe in assuming that?
Yeah, I like quality doors, but it is to grow my portfolio. I'd like to double my portfolio this year and then double it again the following year and have up to 100 units by 24.
Yep.
So I think kind of creating a property management company inside of it, is the best way to go about it. Like Matt runs the your division, correct? Like on all your rentals, and I'm sure you delegate a lot of the stuff to.
Yeah, kind of. We've scaled a lot. To answer your question, it sounds like you're on kind of a similar path. It's been a fun couple of years. We actually just hit our 5-year anniversary, which is nuts.
That's awesome.
To look back on. But it's systems and teamwork. And Matt handles, I would say, our marketing lease up, if you will. But he just transitioned. We're delegating that off now. He's kind of coming into acquisitions with me, more on the kind of farming out metros and developing areas. And I'm going more into kind of capital and.
But your company's still self-managed though, right?
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
right.
Yeah,
Okay.
unlike
So
Jack,
he's
we don't
delicate.
like to give up 12%. But you know, when I get that 1124 properties money, I guess it doesn't matter. You know, it's these whole appraisals, these Massachusetts rents.
Oh, my God.
So staying with that, the question I'm going to hit you with now is, what is one book or resource you would recommend to the Tell Us Why community?
All right. So it's going to kind of go back on this property management stuff. Let me see here. It's the book on managing rental properties, Brandon and Heather Turner. It's not a hype up book, guys. But at the time, I was buying this 9-unit and I had no idea what I was doing. I was under contract and my wife's like, we're going big. We're not buying no 3-family. We're going 9-unit. I'm like, she's crazy. She just loves it. And I'm like, all right, let's do it. And I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing for property management. I just know I've read all this stuff saying, it's not what it say. I met you and you're like, it's not what people say. Like, don't be a landlord. It's not like that. You have systems in play. You're going to eliminate 90% of the stuff that people talk about badly about it. So I read that book and it just gave you systems, policies, some of the stuff I still use today. Gives you tips on bookkeeping. It just got me going and it made me calm. And the most important thing is it's a business. This isn't a hobby. You need to treat your rentals like a business. So if you got a tenant, that didn't pay on the first and, or they didn't pay on the 4th or 5th and you have a grace period to the 3rd or 4th, you charge them a late penalty. There's no, I don't care your excuse. That's the thing. That's the deadline. And I guarantee you next month, they're not going to pay you late. So just kind of how I've ran with it. I love that book. So I recommend that to anyone that's not sure that they're running their property management right. Internally wise, if they have a 2-family or 3-family, or, just someone starting out, I highly recommend that book.
Jack, you notice how he picked a book that was a husband and wife combo. You see that? This is a smart man right here.
No, that's
we're gonna have to get the
Well,
wife
that's
on the
actually,
show.
before we get into the big three and a word from our sponsor, let me ask you this, because I do have this written down. I get 2 guys here. You just mentioned Brandon and Heather Turner.
Yep.
His wife are working together. What is it like working with your wife on a daily, weekly, monthly basis? How is that working out?
It works well. So she's not there the day-to-day stuff. She has her own business that she's running, the general contractor business. But it's just something that I fall on her, hey, we're going to look at this property, it needs a ton of work. And she has that flexibility to be like, all right, tell me when, let's make an appointment and we'll go, and we discuss things at night. But we have to have our own, we gotta, she always says, Johnny, stop talking about real estate. Let's just get back to it's you and me time. Let's talk. I'm like, okay. I get so excited talking about real estate. And so it's been great. I love it. She motivates me so much. She definitely, I think so highly of her. She's gotten me to take these risks and to be where I am today. She's definitely a go-getter and a risk taker, which is unbelievable, so it's been great.
Great.
Great answer. And that is a perfect segue.
You didn't get into trouble on that one, I don't think.
No, I think she would be very.
Not.
Jake will cut that up. That would be one of the clips we upload. Look at that. Jack, ready for the big three?
Oh no.
It's now time for the Big 3 segment, brought to you by QS Private Lending. Are you looking to finance your next deal quickly and reliably with less hassle and paperwork? QS Private Lending is one of the oldest and largest hard money lenders to real estate investors in New Hampshire, Massachusetts, and Rhode Island. Our quick and simple short-term loans require no appraisals and have enabled hundreds of builders and investors to profitably acquire and renovate thousands of residential and commercial properties. To experience the QS difference for yourself, call or text Luke Conroy today at 315-323-0250. That's 315-323-0250. QS Private Lending.
All right, it is time for the big 3. These are the 3 questions we ask every guest every week. And I'll start it with the college question. So in your opinion, is college worth it?
Oh my God, this is a loaded question. So I guarantee my parents are gonna watch this too. My parents paid for most of my college, so
wisely.
It's loaded. But I think it was. So let me give you my reason. it taught me how to network for sure. You know, you got to go out. You don't want to be the loner student. You know, you want to go out. You want to talk to people, make friends. So, you know, whether it's with a drink or, you know, a few drinks, you know, it keeps you it keeps you good with the networking wise. It helps you to study and research, which is what we do all the time, Mike. You know, looking at properties, and that's what we do. And so I think that helped it there. And what else we got here?
Mom and Dad, that was a good investment, and I don't want to lose that money. So well said, Mr. Johnny. We'll leave it at that.
Oh my God.
So you're all... So yes, it was a good investment.
Yeah.
It was good. No, education was great. It gave me a higher salary job. My dad's policy, you know, if I had a bachelor degree, you got a little higher money. So that money allowed me to save, allowed me to buy a house, which was like, that was the equity that I was able to use to buy all my property. And you know, I got to learn real estate while I was working. So it was good, you know.
I like it.
One thing, hold on. Sorry. The one thing that I don't think anybody has said before is the study and research side of things. Like, that's actually a really interesting take, especially for a real estate investor. Like, I feel like that's a great point that I've never thought of before. Like, doing all those research projects where you have to dig in and LexisNexis or whatever that program was at the library. Doing that type of research, like, that definitely helps dig in. Like, you're searching for comps, you're looking for ownership of a property, liens and things like that.
Yeah.
I'm talking to 2 college athletes who went to schools for partying. Yeah, you guys are doing a lot of deep digging. All right, let's cut the shit and the love fest.
Moving on. A lot of deep digging.
Yeah.
There's a ton of deep digging. Right. And there was parties next door.
Yeah, where's the last Ultra?
You have to work on Saturdays, right? Mike, you work on Saturdays. So think about it.
I work all the time. I don't turn it off, but I love this stuff. That's the problem. Sure. You know, I gotta get Jack to that dark place. I gotta get Jack to come over to the dark place. He's not there. He's the good one. I don't turn it off. So on that note, so Johnny, what is one thing you'd want? What's one piece of actionable advice you go back and say to your 18-year-old self?
Don't be afraid to take risks. You know, if the numbers work, do it. Like, you know, you say it all the time, bet on yourself. Like, trust your numbers. Don't wait too long. You could lose the deal. So like, that was like I lost a lot of deals doing that. Just going over the numbers. I'm like, no, I already know the numbers. Just do it. Just put the offer in. So
I like it. I like it. That's really well said.
All right. So now for the 90-year-old question.
What
is one thing? I feel like we need to change this. You're on your deathbed. What is the one thing you would want your 90-year-old self to say to you?
So I'm hoping he's going to say you're going to kill it. And when times are down, just keep pushing. So that's what I think. But if I'm 90 years old, I'm just going to say, keep doing what you're doing. Keep eating how you're eating. Cause I'm living at 90. I'm doing good.
My favorite answer all time. Johnny, rock star. Where can people get in touch and learn more about you?
So social media, you know, I'm on Instagram and Facebook. Instagram is johnny.real.estate, Johnny Real Estate, and Facebook is just at Johnny DeVitto.
All the links will be in the show description below. Don't you worry about that. But before we let you go, is there anything else you'd like to tell the listeners?
Trust your numbers. Trust your numbers. That's my advice.
I love it. Jack, where can people learn more about Tell Us Why? Announce, make the big announcement.
You have to go to the Tell Us Why podcast website. Show notes, episodes, YouTube videos, it's all there. Check it out.
Community.
What's that?
Forum, community discussion.
Forum, maybe. Yep. Work in progress.
Check that out. There. Check out the Tell Us Why Instagram and Tell Us Why TikTok for some big announcements in the coming weeks. And hopefully get people like Johnny on there and past guests. We're building out the community finally, so we're excited for that.
Definitely.
Yep. And like I said, yes, check us out on Spotify, iTunes, Stitcher, anywhere you listen to your podcast. Click, like, subscribe, leave a rating and review. It really helps. And Jack, what is the quote of the week?
5-star review.
5-star review. Quote of the week.
We take 4 stars? Okay, fine.
Yeah, quote of the week.
Quote of the week. Compare yourself to who you were yesterday, not who somebody else is today. It's actually another Jordan B. Peterson quote. It's 2 for the day. But that's it for today. Be sure to join us for next week's episode. And until next week,
bet on yourself.